Now, Ja Morant should be making headlines during the NBA postseason because of big-time plays, huge wins, or tough losses down the stretch. But he finds himself in them instead because of his lack of good judgment and the so-called friends that he has surrounded himself with. Now, if you haven't heard, Ja Morant has been suspended from all Grizzlies team activities after an Instagram video of him flashing a gun while riding in a car once again has been found out to the world this past weekend. Now, this after he's already entered a counseling program because of a video before where he was intoxicated holding a gun at a Denver nightclub in March. Now, that eventually led to an 8-game suspension before this one. He's also currently being sued by a high schooler who was allegedly punched in the face by Morant and a friend at Ja's house. Now, there are many things going on at once with Ja Morant, but I want to pin down which I think are the most crucial reasons why. Now, the first is I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe that an organization or entity can choose to take actions against people or employees who break their code of conduct or rules. Ja has to be smart enough to know not only what, but who he represents. There are many businesses or entities that would follow the same action if a member or spokesperson for said entity was behaving the same way. If William Devane did the exact same thing, I wouldn't expect him to be on any more commercials attempting to sell me gold. Now, we know that Birch is better anyway, but that's neither here nor there. The second is Ja Morant has surrounded himself with people that are poisonous to him and does not have his best interest in heart. All of those incidents I mentioned earlier had the same accomplice, a guy named Devontae Pack. Pack was also banned from games at FedEx Forum in Memphis because he tried to confront Pacers players on the actual court. The old saying, you are what you eat, couldn't be more true. The final point is the reason that I think Ja is mainly doing this. It's looked upon as cool. Now imagine being super rich, famous, and an iconic basketball player, only to not feel good enough unless people think you are some type of gangster. The truth is, Ja Morant is a much better example of what a successful man is when he isn't trying to pretend to be a gangster. He's providing for his family, he's thriving in his craft, and he's giving everyone around him that matters a better life and better opportunities. That's what a real badass looks like. When you dig into Morant's background, he isn't some kid from the wrong side of the tracks, and that's okay. There are badasses that have come from hard and soft backgrounds. We live in a society, however, that glorifies a lifestyle that shouldn't be an option, but if it is, it should be the last option, and that's being in some type of street life. We should glorify the men who do it the right way without having to wave a gun or try and convince people that you're really about that life. Now, outside of himself, actions like these are setting the wrong example for the young people who look up to Ja. They see that lifestyle glorified in our culture and by guys like Ja Morant, and it's just another example of it. Now, I really hope Morant figures it out, because when he's right, he is amazing and captivating to watch. But he wouldn't be the first person to waste what could be legendary talent because they're too busy trying to be something they weren't. I'm going to go and bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane. Guys, it's pretty obvious. You know, you don't have to be Inspector Perot to figure out what's going on here. This is now a pattern of conduct by Ja Morant that is useless, number one, in my opinion. Number two, forces the Grizzlies to have to take action. Because look, is what he's doing illegal? Is it illegal? No. Obviously, it depends on what state you're in. But in most states, it's not illegal. But it's also not smart. And it's underneath who I think Ja Morant really is, honestly, at his core, and who he's been most his life.
Now, you made a lot of good points in there. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Yeah. And I think it's pretty accurate. I did want to look up what the NBA's policy on guns is, because I have firearms. I'm not waving mine around in dance videos. Mine are to protect my family, but we target practice and we shoot clays and those sorts of things. So I wanted to see what's the specific language for the NBA. And here's what I found. Per the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, players are banned from possessing firearms or similarly deadly weapons when present at a team or NBA facility or traveling on NBA-related business trips, such as the previous time that Ja Morant was suspended.
Getting married this weekend.
Hey, yeah,
and you know, as in my opinion, I think you need one great suit. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you need one great suit. And our friends over at Indochino, okay, they can hook you up, you can look sharp, and it's not super expensive. That's with custom suits from Indochino. You can look sleek without breaking the bank. You can customize every detail. And they've got way more than suits, okay? They've got a ton of stuff. You need to go check it out. I'm going to give you the website. All right, you got suits, shirts, dinner jackets, way more. They offer a range of colors from black and gray all the way to burgundy and olive, and they make it easy to get your fully customizable suit right from home. I got mine. I'll be able to have it forever. You know, I'm going to try and keep this body
there you go
forever for as long as possible, maybe even make it better. But I feel great about the one I had. And again, it's worth making that investment if you care about how you look at these places and want to make good impressions. All right, like I said, they already have dress shirts and casual shirts. So RSVP to all your events knowing you have the perfect look with Indochino. All right, go to Indochino.com and use our code BOOSTER. That's INDOCHINO.com. Use our code BOOSTER to get 10% off any purchase, $399 or more. All right, that's INDOCHINO.com with promo code BOOSTER. Now, I know you say $399. Hey, you know, that's a big chunk of change, but it's worth it for that suit. And for the price of a suit like you can get from Indochino, you're actually getting a great deal, not even with the 10% off, because it's such a quality product. And I'll tell you what, the first person to send us in and say that they used it may have a little special shout out.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's give a shout out. First confirmation.
Special shout out right there.
Nothing like a custom fit. You know.
Well, that's the thing. I want it to I want it to almost look painted on, but not feel painted on.
This sitting off the rack, man.
No, this is
Get
you're
yourself
not just
a nice
walking
suit.
into some consignment.
Ladies, get a man in your life a nice custom fit suit and send us confirmation on it.
Yeah, you can get a lot more.
Now, I don't know. This isn't an automobile here. I don't know where he is, but maybe the Grizzlies have imposed stricter penalties on him given his history. I think that's what we're dealing with here. But my question is, and mostly for you, Blaine, is the 5-year, what was it, $194 million max that he just signed? Yeah. You know, like that kicks in this next season. I know how difficult it is to, like, even if you just do the bare minimum and stay out of trouble, it's already hard to win a championship, right? We just saw Steph Curry and this Warriors team who already has championship pedigree just lose in the conference finals. The MVP with the 76ers with Joel Embiid not even going to make it to the finals this year. My question is, when it comes to the Grizzlies, should they really be all in on Ja Morant, or should you try and go see what you could get for him?
I think you go try and see what you can get for him. I said this a couple months ago. This is just turning into the Antonio Brown show. That's what's because the thing with me is this: is one with stuff like this. One, Ja's a liar. He's a blatant liar. He went on with Jalen Rose and said, "Well, this was all mistakes. He wants the kids to look up to him, and this won't happen again." Obviously, a lie. Two, this makes me question your love for the game. How much do you love basketball? Do you like looking cool with your buddies out? And it's not like he's sending cryptic tweets or, you know, going on crazy adventures. I mean, the dude's posting guns on Instagram. So now you're not only playing with your future, but you're playing with your life. That's what you're doing. And the thing about me is no one wishes the downfall of Ja Morant. No one wants that. Ja Morant could put a mark on the game that no one could take away, right? But that takes what? Love that. You can put everything you have in it and still not win anything. Right? Ask Joel Embiid right now, who can't get past the Eastern Conference Finals.
Paul.
Ask Chris Paul for the 8th year in a row. And it's always different. With guys like this scare me more than guys who are raised in it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Guys like this who went to a private school in high school, who had a basketball court in your backyard. You're doing this, is exactly what Jake said, to be cool. If you grew up in it, I'd understand it. But right now, you can't invest in the long term with Ja Morant.
No. And it's sad. I hate to watch greatness self-destruct. But the one thing I will say is there's still time for Ja Morant. There's still time. If he can somehow figure it out. But Blaine brought up a good point. You did lie. You came out and said, I've learned from my mistakes. I know what role model I need to be. So now I can, not only can I not trust your actions, I can't trust what you say. And if you're the Grizzlies and you've got all this money tied up, hell, if you're Nike or whoever he has a shoe deal with, you know, there has to be clauses in there. Behavioral clauses, like there's a million clauses in those contracts. He is going to ruin himself all because he wants to look cool in front of guys like Devontae Pack. If I was John Morant's parents or anybody in that family, I would that he had any respect for, that he would listen to, I would sit him down and I would say, son, you have got to get away from this person. Devontae Pack is not John Morant. I don't know who the hell this guy is. He is trying to make himself famous off sucking the life out of John Morant. And it's not totally on him. This is on John Morant. This is on John Morant. You've obviously been raised right up to a point where you had everything provided for you. You had a ton of stuff given to you, and you have great talent. And you have worked your butt off your whole life. Went to Murray State to get to this point where you are the face. I think LeBron said he's the future of the NBA, the face of the NBA, and you're gonna blow it. Do you know how many guys out there that have no talent, or how many guys out there who are just happy to be on the team, are just, happy to be around the guys, would crawl over broken glass for miles to have an ounce of the talent that John Morant has, and he's just gonna throw it away, and it's sad to watch. I hope he turns it around. I hope he figures it out. But if I'm the Grizzlies, I can't trust him as far as I can.
So what would you do?
I would see what the market has. Really? I would see what the market has, or I would do what you see a lot in coaching. I would go in there like they did to Jim Harbaugh, like they did to Scott Frost, and say, okay, you want to act like this? Here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and knock this money down.
See, and that would have been an option before he signed this. So this is 5 years, $194 million with 194 guaranteed, so that's $38 million a year. Now he missed out on the All-Pro clause, I think, which cost him a couple million down the stretch. But yeah, he's locked in now. That contract's going to kick in this year, unless there's some language in there.
I will never sleep, and I haven't seen it. I will never sleep on lawyers when you're putting $194 million, whatever it is. There has got to be a parachute in there somewhere, or some sort of escape, or something, especially. Now that this has been a pattern of things, because at what point does Adam Silver came out and talked about him being reckless before? He had to have a meeting with him, and that led to an 8-game suspension. So this isn't going away. And it's something, again, I hope it ends up being good, but it sure as heck isn't looking like it. Hey, YouTube, appreciate you guys checking us out. If you don't know, we do a live morning show each weekday from 7:30 to 9 a.m. Eastern. Come check us out. We do live call-ins. We have a live chat. It's great interaction. We're talking everything and taking your comments as well. It is a fantastic time. So if you haven't subscribed already, do that. Turn that notification bell on and check us out in the mornings, live, each weekday, 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern.